The American military has always been at the center of technological innovation, and its role in this tends to increase in importance whenever a major conflict takes place in this world. Even if not directly involved in these conflicts, America learns from them and then uses those lessons to advance its goals. One of the things the US military is presently focusing on are drones. Several projects are ongoing at the moment, aiming to deliver new kinds of uncrewed aircraft with never-before-seen abilities. Or, at least, not that widespread abilities. The project we'll be focusing on today is called Advanced Aircraft Infrastructure Less Launch and Recovery, or ANCILLARY. It was announced by the DARPA back in 2023 as an effort meant to deliver a vertical takeoff and landing drone that needs no specialized tools to be launched, operated, and retrieved. DARPA turned to no less than 9 companies for this project, each of them free to go about designing the drone the best way they see fit. One of these companies, Sikorsky, decided to go the way of a rotor-blown wing. Despite the name sounding a bit pretentious, it's really not. We're basically talking about a wing with motors and propellers that can take off just like a helicopter, but once in the air it transitions to fly like a fixed-wing aircraft. That's something that would make it more than suitable to fly and land off and on the decks of small ships, or in remote locations. It was back in May 2024 when Sikorsky gave us the first glimpse of the design, in the form of a rendered drone. It was basically a long and pretty straight wing, with a center structure at its middle, the cockpit where the drone's systems are installed, and 2 engines and propellers further out toward the tips of the wing. The design also showed vertical structures left and right of the cockpit, which take on the role of landing legs, the elements that allow the drone to be stored upright on the ground. The way this thing is supposed to work is pretty simple. On the launch site, the drone starts spinning its propellers, positioned like those on a helicopter, and lifts off. Once a certain altitude is reached, it tips over, and the helicopter transforms itself into an airplane. The industry calls a propeller that is used for both vertical and horizontal flight a proprotor, and it is crucial in the operation of such a design. The constant flow of air that goes over the proprotor wash, across the wing, gives the aircraft less drag when hovering and transitioning to horizontal flight. All of these was, until now, just theory. The entire rotor-blown wing turned real back in January when Sikorsky completed a series of tests on a prototype of the drone, one that was put together in under a year. We're not given all the details surrounding the drone, other than the fact that it is essentially a 10.3-foot composite wing, it weighs 115 pounds, and is powered by batteries. It was put through its paces not only as a means to prove it can fly, but also to validate the new control laws that will govern its flight. For the purposes of the test, the drone was subjected to 40 takeoffs and landings, but also no less than 30 transitions between helicopter and airplane modes. While in horizontal flight, the drone reached speeds of 99 miles per hour. Sikorsky says it had to devise new control laws to govern the transition maneuver, but doesn't go into the details of what that means. It does say though, that the flying wing demonstrated the control power and unique handling qualities necessary to transition repeatedly and predictably from a hover to high-speed wing-borne cruise flight, and back again. When it announced the ANCILLARY program, DARPA did not say when it expected something tangible to come from this research. Just like all the other designs being researched by Sikorsky's competitors, its drone will have to eventually evolve into something that weighs 300 pounds and can carry a 60-pound payload. It should be powered by a hybrid electric propulsion system whose details were not specified. The drone will eventually have multiple uses, from humanitarian relief and firefighting to rescue and long-range intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance missions. The technology would also be scalable, meaning that rotor-blown wing of different sizes could fly in the skies of the world in the not-so-distant future. If the Sikorsky design will be chosen, we'll once again get to see the Matrix autonomous system in action, the technology that recently helped a military Black Hawk and the company's S-76B fly with no humans on board, because it will govern the drone's flight as well.